Hey, this is You've Got an Hour with Adam Griffin. I had a different opening that was planned for the week, but, things went the other direction, and you know to what I'm referring. I'm referring to the presidential election, and I just, I would be remiss not to start the show by saying that first of all, I'm going to go overtime today, but I am in the throes of a panic attack. I think a lot of you probably relate to that, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry that every 4 years feels like something that you have to fight for, and I'm sorry that every 4 years can be panic-inducing. But what I will tell you is that we're going to stay active, and we're going to stay reticent, and we will stay readily available for conversations with each other, won't we? Because that's the only way you get through things, is through supporting each other. So you stay vigilant in your persistence for your voice and your truth. No one can deter you from that. They can't. So just persevere. And sorry that this is such a raw opening, but I can't not address it. So the rest of the episode is not this tone. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get laughs out of it. And I am grateful for the people that do serve our country. And today we have a veteran on. I made the joke that it's a Disney Channel original movie reference, that this is Cadet Kelly, which was a Lizzie McGuire movie when we were growing up, or when I was growing up. It's a great film. It was really fun. It's a lot like that Goldie Hawn movie. You remember when she went to boot camp and the tides turned for her and she ended up falling in love. It ended up being a rom-com. But anyway, it's kind of like that for a more of a modern context, even though it was 20 years ago. So I hope that whatever generation you're in, you feel seen today, regardless of the outcome. And I hope you feel a laugh on the episode. So without further ado, this is my friend Grayson. Thank you for your service. And he is a gay individual that served in the Marines. So it's quite an interesting dichotomy, if you will. I found the story both compelling and interesting, and I have a lot of love for him, and you will too.
Oh, music to my ears. Grayson, how are you?
I'm great. How's it going?
I picked the wrong time to chug water. Oh my god, good. Just drowning. Yeah, fabulous. We had an earthquake this morning.
Oh, the beauty of living in Southern California.
Yeah, the beauty of living in New York. It radiates on you. Are you enjoying it?
I mean, I actually really enjoyed out here. I say actually because I wasn't expecting to really like fully fall in love with it. I was such a California boy.
I mean, but so how are things with the boy? Are they good? I don't have to talk about this on the podcast. I'm just curious.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're doing so good that we are engaged.
Wait, what? When did that happen?
Yeah, well, funny enough, like maybe a week after I moved here.
Bump the game for a second. I mean, how long have you been dating? This is so, I mean, look, I think I do research on my guests, and then you drop something like this and I'm like, this should have been so obvious to me. This is embarrassing from a production standpoint. I blame my producer Chris Cappuccino for this. She's not a real person. But so how long have you been together? This is exciting.
So it's actually a full Hallmark movie. So we met on the 21st of
Yeah,
December.
set the tone. So,
Yeah,
the 21st of December, love that.
21st of December.
First day of winter.
So what happened is I was here already for a month after I had just worked on a show in Atlanta. I did a long-term little like recovery session in the city in New York instead of going back to
Rehab.
LA. Yeah, rehab. I
No,
literally
not really.
I was already gone for 2.5 months, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to go home again. I'm just gonna go and be with my family. So I was in the city for a month. Well, I was like, it was right before the holidays. My parents were like, oh, you should just like, stay here through. I was like, no, I need to see my apartment. I haven't touched my apartment in over 3 months. So I went back to LA for a week, and then I came back for the holidays. My first day in town, I went to a drag bar that I was supposed to go with my soon-to-be sister-in-law and my brother, and they ditched me. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go by myself. Well, I run into a boy who it's his last night in town before he goes to Michigan to see his family. And we just meet at a bar at a drag show on a Wednesday night where, there's maybe like 15 other people in the bar. And we just talk for 7.5 hours up until the sunrise. And, he walks me to the bus stop and he's like, really, I really hope I see you again. And, we gave each other a long hug because I thought that I had met my husband. And
I'm dead at this.
my brother even texted me that morning and he's like, "Are you coming home at all?" Like, because we were supposed to have breakfast plans. And I was like, there's literally text proof that I said, "I think I met my husband." And he said, "Oh Lord."
Oh Lord.
Yeah, my straight brother.
Now, are you like me where you fall in love a lot, or was this like a one and
No.
done?
I
Oh,
mean, not
okay.
like that. I mean, I keep my heart open for people, but I don't, I'm also visiting and like it was a whole thing where it's like, oh my God, like misconnection or whatever you call it.
Yeah, well, the city's romantic in a way that other cities are not. LA is not romantic. New York is romantic.
And guess what? He goes to the airport, gets on his flight, and while he's on the flight, it gets canceled. And there's a blizzard, like a flash blizzard that's running through the north, and it cancels all flights until
You little witch, you
January
did
1st.
that, didn't you? You got in that cauldron and you said, hello, winter is coming.
Yeah, so we ended up being able to spend the holidays together. Our first date was with our siblings. I invited him rock climbing on Christmas Eve.
Oh, we went in deep real quick. You said we're meeting the family, you're meeting Abuela, let's
It was
go.
just, we met so casually and the relationship that we had was so, I don't know, it was different than anything else where it just felt like I knew this person and they knew everything about me so quick and so easily that I was like, you know what, these boys, because he was with his brother, his younger brother's his roommate, or at the time he was. And I was like, you know what? I feel really bad. These boys have just been kind of abandoned for the holidays, and I'm really liking getting to know this boy. And I asked my siblings if I could invite them to rock climb, and they're like, I mean, sure. And so we did, and it was a whole family affair.
That is amazing. I love when people are, first of all, close with their family. Everybody's not blessed to have that situation, and especially growing up queer and from the South, it could go a different way. It's so cool, though, that you're like, what is going on outside? Could you hear that?
No, is it another earthquake?
It was like a monster truck rally. No, but it's so great when that's the example that's happening in both sides of your relationship. It just makes it easy, makes it really nice.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really grow up that way. I had a lot of traumatic events throughout my childhood and in my adult life where I never really thought that this was going to be my life, being able to
Yeah.
go on a date with my siblings and their siblings, and then like also like on the second date, him already meeting my family, like my parents. Um, and it just, even to the relationship that they have with him now, like when I'm not in town and I'm traveling and they're in town, they'll take him out to lunch. And it's just like my mom and dad and my fiance. And it's just like this. I think I always take a step back and like almost want to pinch myself that it's like it's so amazing how our parents and ourselves can like develop into these whole different people over time with like just allowing ourselves to kind of open up into accepting different things about ourselves and about the people around us. And it's so beautiful to see how far my parents have come um in like with all of the trauma that I've like gone through as a child to now. It's really cool how, through their growth, I can also like look back at my trauma and kind of learn how to forgive, even if it wasn't directly, a direct apology was given for any of, the acts that I might remember and they might not.
Yeah, I'm sorry you went through that. I didn't know that that was your experience. It's interesting that people never really do completely grow up. Like we're always learning and growing, which is a nice testament that if I fail today, I may benefit tomorrow, you know? So, I'm glad that you guys are in a place where it's good and that you've worked on that and healed hopefully some of your inner child stuff, cuz it's rough. It's not easy, man.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, I just think that a lot of people walk through life still holding resentment for things from their past, even if their parents have done things or people in their life have done things to show that like the growth. And I think people just get stuck on feelings, which, it's their feelings are valid, but I also think a lot of that resentment just lives in themselves. And, I always try to wear a smile on my face because I think that like every day can be like beautiful if you can see the beauty in it. And so like I wouldn't want to ever hold that resentment from, look what has happened because I was able to see beyond, like beyond anything that I lived through as a child. And I was able to open up my relationship to have my family involved. And like, I didn't like hide that from them thinking that, oh, like this is a me thing. And like that, my family's their own corner, you know? So yeah, I think a lot of it, you have to do it internally first in order to see the benefit.
You do. What a blessing it is that you've had the growth. You know what I mean? And you've got a good outlook with your family. You've got somebody that you're in love with. You're in a great city, my favorite city. A little bit jealous of that. Love New York. I'm just happy for you. I'm blown away. I did not know you were engaged, and I feel so dumb as your friend to not have celebrated that with you already. So drinks on me when you're in town.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, it was a secret for a while, so you know what? You're fine. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
it was. Was it a secret? You kept it a
It
secret?
was because it was like, I don't know. I don't feel like telling
Not the
anyone
hair
yet.
behind the ear. Oh my
They're
God.
gonna
Oh,
think that I'm a little
dainty.
psycho. Like if I tell people that like I've been dating this boy for 3 months now, we're engaged.
Now, why
So
would people think that's psycho? I think that's silly. I don't think love has a timestamp on it. People that I know have been together for 8 years and they're still not engaged, and they probably shouldn't. You know, that dynamic change could ruin it for them, or they're not meant to do that. Like they're good for now, or they're toxic. You know, it's like you can't put a stamp on it. I think people are crazy for telling people how they're supposed to run it. I think that's dumb. I'm sorry you felt judged from others, because fuck that.
yeah, there was a couple people that really did voice their opinions on like me moving and me being in like such a serious relationship, and people said that I was gonna regret it. I mean, to their point, like I did regret a little bit moving away from my comfort of like Southern California, but I don't regret my, following my heart and also giving this relationship a chance. Like,
Yeah, you would have way more regretted it had you not tried it.
absolutely. I mean, I don't know if you're a Lauren Conrad fan.
Who is that? Is that like Laura Croft? Are they related? Is it a video
Lauren
game character?
LC from The Hills. She was
Oh,
I
bye. No, uh-uh.
no, she was supposed to choose Paris or she was supposed to choose the boy, and she chose the boy. And you know what? At least she chose the boy. She could have had Paris forever, but she had that summer in Laguna.
Good for you giving us a reference to that. Wow. I'll brush up on my Shakespeare, if you will. So here we go. We're gonna hop into something fun. We're
Let's
gonna hop
play.
into. Let's play a game. Gayme. You know I gotta add gay in there. So the topic today being like you served our country, and we're gonna get into that as a topic. But I like a good warm up of just seeing where you're at on
Bum,
has
ba-dum,
so and so
bum,
served our
bum, bum,
country.
bum, ba-dum, bum, ba, ba, bum, ba, 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 ba. Has so and so served our country? The game.
Okay.
Okay. So this will be fun for us. Like, I'm not going to do Dolly, Beyonce, or Dogs in Springfield because we all know they've done their time, right? So we'll start with Miss Cadet Kelly because that's you. That's how I introduced you. So we got to start there. Little Miss Hillary Duff.
Serve.
Major serve. Did you grow up watching those Disney Channel original movies?
Of course, a decom extra.
Yes. I miss the segment where they jump in the air and the film reel is just like going everywhere. And I'm like, what a hot mess this is. I love
It
it.
was a dream.
Oh.
It actually was a dream. It never existed.
No, I don't think it happened. It's like the Berenstein Bear effect. Like, I don't know how to spell it. Okay, so what about Harry Potter?
Did Harry Potter serve in the military?
No, 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 no. They don't have to. They're not. It's not that literal. It's just like, did they serve our country?
No. Harry Potter did not serve our country. Harry Potter served the United Kingdom.
Oh, we went literal there. I also think he didn't serve. I just think he's such an annoying character. I love Daniel, all of his 4'11" self, but I really can't stand his character. He's the least likable in it. It's like watching Sex in the City, but if you could ignore Carrie, it would be better.
I think that's a really hard take to think that Harry Potter is the most unlikable
He
character.
is. He is. I like Tom Riddle more than him. No, I'm kidding. Not really.
Oh, so we know where your heart belongs.
I know. Yeah, total Slytherin over here. But actually, I'm not. I am a Hufflepuff. But I definitely, rewatching it as an adult, I'm like, he's so whiny and he's so angsty and he's so, like, in his feelings. And I get it, but it's annoying.
But it's not our fault. Okay, it is not his fault that he had a huge microscope on him, all right? A magnifying glass, whatever you say.
True.
It is he is going through all of his life the way that he is, and because he's the chosen one, everyone wants to judge and everyone wants to have an opinion on him,
Yeah.
and he has no room to grow without people having, like you, judgment, opinion.
Bring
So
it
you know what?
back.
I take it back.
Tell me what I'm
I
doing
take
wrong.
it
But
back. I think he did serve. I think
okay,
he
good for
served
you.
hardcore.
Good. I still don't. Anyway, moving on. And also not me naming a British person. I won't do that again. Kelly Clarkson. What are you eating? Ice cream? Mashed potatoes?
Hard-boiled eggs.
No. I can't with this fitness. Beep, 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 click. Game
Back
over.
to Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah, we got to go back to Kelly. I always talk about Kelly. Okay, Kelly and Justin, that was a moment. Remember that movie?
No, there's a movie?
Yeah, right after American Idol, they were trying to figure out how to brand all these stars, so they made them a movie, and it was the top two contestants from American Idol, and it was terrible. It was like a Hawaii 501 situation, but no script.
That's
You need to watch it.
Kelly Clarkson absolutely served our country.
Yes.
Absolutely. She is the queen of American Idol. Let's just say that.
And also now daytime television, which did you ever think in your wildest dreams she'd be doing something like that?
Yes, because I'm a producer and I can see the vision.
Shows you how bad of one I am because I couldn't. I literally worked on The Voice, and I thought this girl's not going to be able to do a teleprompter because they had to cut her segments down. She could ramble. She talks.
That's the thing about daytime. I mean, you have Drew Barrymore as well. That's just a rambler, and it's like
Yeah, but that I never thought either.
Oh, but I do because I think that whenever you see someone and you're like, oh my God, you just have so much charisma. You have just so much natural energy, and you can just like sit and watch this person talk. You've heard that before. People have always told you.
Yeah.
Sure. They're like, oh my gosh,
Oh,
I
me?
just watch you talk all day. Yeah, you
Oh, yeah, because they think I'm going to bury myself alive with my comments as how I take that. Okay,
well, I think that sometimes you just have to give someone a platform.
you do. I think, yeah, no, I'm loving this. And I'm also loving that we're coming at this from opposite angles a little. I'm loving the dichotomy. Now, what about Glenn Powell? I have strong opinions about this.
Well, I've personally met him
Okay.
and spoken with him.
You better name drop.
And and though he is such a sweetheart and such a gentleman, no, I don't think he's served our country. All I think he's doing, or that what they're using him as, I can't believe I'm going on record for this, but I just think they're just using him as like he has a very classic face from like the 80s, 90s, and so they're just reviving that whole like white male appearance, and so they're just like, oh my God, he just looks like, who's that guy from like Indiana Jones?
Harrison Ford, you think
Yeah,
that?
he kind of has that like very Harrison Fordy, but younger.
But he doesn't have the charisma. He doesn't have the chutzpah. He doesn't have it.
He's charming. I don't think he has like that like American leader in him, but he's just another like white pretty face.
I don't understand the leading man aspect that what they're branding him as. I don't think works. That's my strong opinion and my strong take.
If any of your listeners or you have watched Scream Queens, that's the only like douche that he has in him, which is very camp, and I'm living for it.
Yes, and very fratty, like very, very,
Yeah.
very rich boy. Like I don't understand the whole Twisters thing we're doing with him. He did fine. Like I think he's a good actor, but he's miscast. He's not a Matthew McConaughey. He's not like in the dirt. I don't believe this man has ever done a blue collar job in my life. I won't believe it. It's not happening. He's on a sailboat. He grew up on a sailboat in Connecticut and he has a trust fund. And I'm like, be that person. You know what I mean?
I
Be
mean,
that.
I love that fantasy because, now I'm just picturing myself next to him on that sailboat, living off of that trust fund.
Watch out, fiance.
I mean, Glenn Powell, I mean, he's very short. So, like, no.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's like
How short?
5'8", I think. Yeah,
Okay.
5'8" or 5'9". But again, like such.
Aren't you 5'9"?
I'm 5'11".
Oh, okay.
No, and with shoes on, I'm 6 foot. So,
All right. What about Howie Mandel? Has he served our country?
um,
And I'm gonna measure you next time I see you.
Howie Mandel has
It's a no.
served.
Just say no. It's okay.
I mean, I think that he participated. He did reserves, okay? He did reserves. He was here and there. Um,
I
but
love that.
he wasn't an active duty Cadet Kelly queen.
No, he wasn't. And you know what? I don't think he actually literally could have gone through the process because he's such a germaphobe.
Yeah, and that whole thing is even weirder. It like even cuts him from the running. Now I don't even want to picture him at all.
No,
Serving.
let's move on. Okay, let's do athletes real quick. We're gonna do some quick ones. So I'm not gonna do Kelsey, the one with Taylor. I also love that you were chowing the fuck down right now. You better eat. You said this is my time. I'm using it how I want. Good for you. We're not gonna do anything in the Swifties lane. I don't care for that whole context, but I don't want the Swifties coming after me. I just don't have the energy to deal with it. They don't scare me, but I don't want to be
Views.
views. I know, but I don't want to like piss them off because then I'll get no views, blocked, restraining order. So we'll start with Gus Kenworthy. He's a queer athlete that was in the Olympics. He was a skier. Body for days. The body is tea, as the kids say, or the body's a mocha at least. I mean, it's got something going on there. It's a nice cappuccino.
I politely decline to respond to
No,
this.
I know you have an opinion on this, and it's literally the only reason we're playing this game is because I know you have a story about him, and I want to hear it.
No story. Again, I politely decline to
You
have
were
an.
at Burning. Okay, fine. We don't have to talk about it. But I know you were at Burning Man, and he was at Burning Man, and I'm sure you ran into him. And I just think he's so attractive.
I'll give it. He is a very attractive man. Okay, I'll touch this lightly. He's a very attractive man,
Not me pushing you to say something you don't want to.
and I respect him for being a silver Olympic medalist. Kudos to him and what he's done for the gay community. So yes, I believe that he in some way has served.
Oh, you don't like him at all. I love this. This is hot. This is a hot bit of tea, just like that
Now,
body.
don't put that on record because that's not true either.
All right, whatever. All right, I'm reading the behavior though, and it's being very quiet, very demure, very, very lying.
Very, very demure.
Are you sick of the word demure yet? I actually thought that we were saying Demi Moore this whole time.
Okay. Well, I actually am so sick of it.
Thank you.
For your viewers or listeners, I went to Burning Man recently. So we made it a rule to as soon as people touch foot on playa in the desert, that demur's out. They're not even allowed to mention it.
Good.
It was the best rule ever, and it because it was 2 weeks as it was building, I completely forgot of the word until someone mentioned it right before we left, and I got so upset. I can't stand the word.
Ruined
And
my whole trip.
Well, it's because it's just Gen Z trying to they find a somewhat big word or like SAT word and they create a whole persona over it. And I just can't stand it. It was cute when she did it, but to create this whole culture of it, I hate.
Yeah, it's not even just a branding moment. It's not even just a meme moment. It seems like it is it's a whole thing in history now. It's like almost textbook. I'm like, okay, we're going to be quoting this for a while. And good for her. I hope she gets the trademark she deserves and she makes the money. Now I'm going to get quick yes or no's off of these. These are rapid fire. You ready for this? Because this is going to blow us out of the water on these.
Let's do it.
Baywatch.
No,
Perfect. Mormonism. You don't have to answer these.
absolutely not.
I just feel like because Salt Lake City's going on, and now we've got Secret Lives of the Mormon Wives, or whatever it's called. That looks good. Have you seen it?
That looks good.
It
That
is
looks
good.
I like how we're all you're the 12th person I've talked to that's like that looks really good, and it's because the drama, the real drama.
No, these Mormons are serving McDonald's.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I thought you were going to say absolutely not. I'm loving it. Walmart. No, we're not answering this one. Fracking. Don't answer it. Christopher Columbus. No. Moving on. Okay. So I had this whole thing. I'll bring you back for another time because we did work on a trivia show together and I had all of these facts prepared for us of various things in history to try and see if you know some things about various presidents and
Hit me with two.
Okay, I'll give you two. Here's a fun one. We'll lead with the gay one because this is something fun for both of us. Name a gay president. It's all alleged, but we've had 3 alleged ones. One of them surprised me.
Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, there's been a lot of research about this recently. I'm excited for him.
Wow.
Did you just guess or did you know that?
I remember some gay thing that was like he has a really long
Roommate.
yeah. Yeah.
He actually
So
had two. He had one when he was before he ever got married. I know way too much information about this. Are you ready? He had one that he lived with for a long time, and he was so poor. I put this in quotes because it's like Anna Delvey. He was so poor that they shared a bed together, and they did that for years. And then when Abraham Lincoln was president, he tried to bring him onto his staff several times, tried to give him a seat at the table, and the guy was so how I see it is heart torn about their situation and their breakup that he was refusing it. He wouldn't do it. Like, who refuses a cabinet position? I would love to be a doorknob or a hinge. Hello?
oh my
Okay, you
God.
want to know who the other two are? Because this surprised me.
Barack Obama.
No, actually, no. We're not going to throw Michelle under the bus like that. Don't you do her dirty like that.
Okay, tell me the others.
James Buchanan, who even is that? He's the president right before Abraham Lincoln. I don't know what was going around in that time period.
I mean, my fiance is named after James Buchanan.
Truly?
My fiance's name.
Swerve. This is what we call in the business an oops-a-daisy, and somebody's getting fired on set because who didn't do any sort of note-taking or research on the back end or the front end of the production of this podcast? Like, didn't know that he had a fiance, and I didn't know the fiance's name. Yeah, really great work here. Chris Cappuccino, fired.
I mean, I just love that his parents just knew, you know. We're gonna name you after a president, but it's gonna be the gay one.
Oh, see, and my parents, all they did was open up the tour, and they were like, first name there, done, that's over. Let's just get it over with. First name we see, it's done. You little snake, because Adam and snakes. Anyway, and then also JFK. JFK was bisexual.
Allegedly. I mean, all of these people are not here to be able to speak for their truth, and I'm not trying to out anyone. But it's fun. There's research on all of this, and it's fun to think about. We got to get our kicks where we can, okay?
Hot.
Rumor, but I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, look at him. He's like a little Pez dispenser. Bring it on.
I mean, maybe that's why they killed Marilyn, because like maybe they had a really hot threesome with a guy.
I feel like Marilyn didn't care. I feel like she was like, I love love. Let's do this.
Yeah. Long live.
We're going to end there, and we'll come right back with the hot topic.
I am sorry that I'm distracting with this food.
No, you're not at all. I just like calling you out with it because it's funny.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't care at all. Is it literally just hard-boiled eggs?
It's like egg salad, basically.
Oh, that's better. So there's mayo. There's what?
There's mayonnaise and seasonings
Okay.
Parsley, oregano, salt and pepper.
You're such a fitness bro. I mean, I don't even know when the last time I had protein was. I mean, that's amazing. You better do it.
Hey everyone, this is Linda LaFaye, and I've always got something to say. Today's topic is about manners. Are you conscious that some people don't have good manners? Do you think that might be you? I know that we all slip and we slide, and maybe our manners are not the best, but maybe we should just try a little harder to up our game, and I'm going to give you some examples. If you're a guest at someone's table, it's not good manners to start eating before they do. Do you know how to use a fork and a knife and a spoon properly? Do you even know how to set a table, that the fork goes on the left and the knife and the spoon go on the right? Do you take pride in setting your table and having your kitchen table be a little area of sanctuary that you're thankful for the meal you're about to eat? Do you eat in the den? Come on now.
Den is what Southern people call a living room.
If you have a kitchen table, which I certainly hope you do, but if you don't, you can also honor a space and call it your kitchen table. Set it up and be ready for a meal, and try to practice some etiquette and some manners. And do not get me started about belching and burping out loud, which of course all of us do, but maybe that's a slip, or maybe we intentionally do it for fun. But do you know that it is bad manners in a lot of cultures to do that? So maybe you should close your mouth, use your napkin, put it in your lap, bring it to your lips, put it back down in your lap. Do I need to really say all these things to you? Yes, I think I do. And let me just speak to those of you who are maybe single and trying to attract a partner of some type. Well, if you're going to be serious about representing yourself, please pay attention to your manners. If you don't know anything about etiquette, maybe you can just read about it a little bit, the power of the finger on the Google of it all. I'm sure there's things we can all do to improve ourselves and just to be conscious of the way we are presenting ourselves. So just try, please. You're welcome.
That was my mom, and here's my dad.
Hey, Adam, You know why people never see Bigfoot hiding in trees? Because he's so good at it.
All right, we're back. Tell me, this is a segment I do with everyone. What is a noise when you're trying to back out of a situation or in your mind it's an awkward conversation? Not that ours is. What's the noise you're hearing?
It's my literal voice going, mm.
Wait, do it again.
Mm, mm. I literally, like, I have to, like, verbally say it, and it, like, because my thoughts are so loud, Adam. Like, it's so bad that, like, I have to verbally say,
Have you met me?
well, that's good. I like it when I can read people.
I think you're better at hiding it than me. I'm gonna give you a little credit.
I literally have so many people that say, like, I wear every emotion and every thought in my eyebrows and eyes. Like, literally, I can't hide anything. And
Yeah, you do actually. I was trying to give you some credit, but I was being nice.
yeah, no. And it's like a bad quality, but it's fine. Whatever. I just can't play poker.
That's okay. And you know what? That game sucks anyway.
What? Yeah, why are we gambling?
Yeah, gamble on what? I've already been gambling on love enough.
Oh, God.
Yeah, too far. Okay, so we're gonna get into it. You're here today because I love you and we're friends. And honestly, this has been such a fun conversation. I hate to detour it into something else, but the point of having you.
Deter away.
Here we go. Did you say Faye Dunaway?
I said deter away.
Oh, I was like, okay, mommy dearest. Yeah, you served our country. You were in the active, was it military? What branch were you in?
I was in the Marine Corps.
Marine Corps. For how many years?
I was in for 3 years.
Okay. And where were you stationed?
I was stationed in Camp Lejeune, which is in Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Right near me. That's one of the ways we bonded.
Yeah, well, we're both born in North Carolina, so it was only 2 hours away from my hometown. So it wasn't, a drastic change geographically, but in other ways, it was, life-changing.
Yeah, Jacksonville's a little bit of a hellhole. I'm so sorry that you were stationed in that neck of the woods.
Oh, it was, fun fact about myself, I'm from a military town, Fayetteville, which is the Army kind of hometown base, whatever. Jacksonville is to Camp Lejeune, as Fayetteville is to Fort Bragg, or Fort Liberty now, excuse me.
Yeah, they did just rename it. I forgot. Well, 5 or however many years ago, but I grew up with it being Fort Bragg.
Yes. So I was actually born in a Fort Bragg hospital. My family did not want me to join the military. I was the least likely to join out of my entire family. I have two older brothers, one younger sister, and the older siblings both showed interest of joining. I was always the rebel out of my family. I was always kind of the black sheep when it came to like rule following and order and conduct. I was never.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Yeah, exactly. It actually my decision came from two different things. But one was I was a competitive all-star cheerleader for, God, I think like 5 years. I decided, like, after I left cheerleading, that I really wanted something to challenge me, like physically and in like a team building, team effort kind of way, like cheerleading did. And the military always seemed like an answer. I was also really inspired. The second thing is I was inspired by, growing up in a military family, in a military town. I mean, I grew up during 9/11 and, the war on terror. And with my father, he was special forces. He was always deployed for like a year at a time. And like he missed so many big life events. And I had neighbors that like died in so many different wars. And like it left, their families fatherless or parentless. And yeah, growing up with that, I always felt a responsibility, watching war movies and stuff. I felt this responsibility to want to like be there and like wish that I could protect people and try to be someone on the front line. And so I actually joined the military with hopes of becoming a combat medic. But a funny little thing about recruiters is they care about numbers more than they care about your personal goals. So I told a Marine Corps recruiter that I wanted to be a combat medic, and he asked me, he's like, "Well, we're not sure if we can get you that job, but what's more important to you, that you become a Marine or that you become a combat medic?" I was like, "Well, Marine, of course, obviously, the whole like, good spirits." But what he didn't tell me, he failed to tell me that a combat medic is a Navy job.
Oh.
Yeah. So he kind of fucked me over there where it
Yeah,
was
you were
like,
in the wrong branch. Jeez.
yeah, and he didn't tell me that.
How did he recruit you then? Was he over here spilling his soap like, "Hey, you cheer for a team. Come cheer for America as a medic."
Yeah, I mean, I walked into that front office. I wanted the challenge of being a Marine because I knew it was the toughest branch. So like, slightly my fault for all of the trauma that came after joining.
Yeah, that is such a rebellious nature for you to. Sorry that you had someone lead you astray, obviously, but for you to join really the toughest branch. The Marine Corps is not to be fucked with.
Right. And it's funny because like, each one has like something that, is stronger than the others. Like Air Force is, more intellectually challenging. And the Marine Corps is more physically demanding, because they're the first ones in battle. So that means that they're the first ones deployed, into everything.
Do they sell it as if it's like the little drummer boy? Because I always picture in a war movie, you know how the drummer goes first or the flag goes first. Is that how you guys are feeling? Like, did you feel that when you were there? You were like, rup a pum pum.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You're literally, I mean, that's part of the brainwashing step is what makes a Marine compared to like, a soldier, or any other branch. A Marine is a mentality where you are this like superhero that can't be stopped. Every Marine is supposed to believe, and they're brainwashed to believe, that there's absolutely no other person or like opposing force that is stronger than them or more advanced and skilled in skills as them. And so they give their all because they're these, bred alphas. And that's the thing about Marines is like, and why they're usually very disruptive and very unruly, and they have this like very awful reputation. And it's because you're brainwashed to be that. You're brainwashed to be an alpha because that's why Marines win, is because you're dealing with a bunch of people that think they're the best of the best.
Yeah, the whole alpha scenario is so ridiculous to me. I'm a beta fish 100%. I think I'll clean the tank and I'll just like quietly, demurely do my thing. I would never fit into this branch. Although I will say, honestly, that Jarhead movie with Jake Gyllenhaal almost won me over. That whole Santa montage was so good. Did you ever see that movie?
I did not see the movie.
Oh, you have missed out. Although it might be triggering. Maybe don't watch it now.
I think it's more triggering for my childhood, not to go too deep into that. A lot of, well, I grew up with a father that was special forces infantry before going into intelligence, and his job was to kill, and like in some of the biggest wars that we've had in recent day and age. And I think that it's traumatic for him. So he had a lot of PTSD and a lot of anger and a lot of like, he also is English second language. And so, for a large portion of his enlistment, he had a language barrier. I mean, he joined the military and was in wars without being able to fully speak.
Talk about frustrating. I mean, yeah, that had to be so frustrating. Was there ever dialogue or discussion about therapy in that environment?
No. So
Yeah.
I mean, my dad is the most, I don't know if you understand what machismo is, but like he is,
Yes, I do.
I'm Bolivian, so South American. So there's a lot of rich machismo and alpha energy that lives in him, and ego. And instead of going to see a therapist, he actually sought out a degree, a master's in therapy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he's like, no one's going to
Can't
tell
do
me
teach.
how to feel. No one's going to tell me how to feel. So I'm going to learn about feelings so I can teach others how to feel.
I'm going to be such a master of my feelings. I'm helping others, and I don't even need to worry about my own. That's interesting.
It's very
How did you joining the Marines affect your dynamic with your dad? Was there advice given there, or was it like because you were in different branches? How did that go?
there was a slight bit of bonding that happened through it. he told me what jobs to stay away from, because of like, the long-term effects. Like I was thinking about becoming like a chemical engineer or like something to do with like basically bombs, like basically someone that like did like a bunch of like bomb launching, like have a loss of hearing because of
Yeah.
all the amount of like explosives. So there was a little bit of bonding with that, but it wasn't like, he was so proud of me for doing it and joining and like going through it because like, the Marines is like, oh shit, you're joining the Marines. Like when you talk to someone in the military and you tell them that you're a Marine, there's this like, oh shit.
What year?
This was 2014.
Oh, so
Uh,
this is after the "Don't Say Gay" was repealed.
sure. Yeah. I mean, yes, but it's the Marine Corps, and we'll get
Yeah,
to
I
that.
know. I know. No, because I was gonna ask what was that like, but that is a different set of
Right.
circumstances, which I'm sure was almost any more challenging. I'm sure in several ways, but we'll get into that. So boot camp, go.
Yeah, so boot camp is a 3-month process where they basically strip the civilian from you and, tear everything that makes you you and an individual, and they try to create this machine. Like I was talking before, create this alpha that thinks they're unstoppable because they put them through these like really tough tests physically and intellectually. There's a
How
lot
did
of
you get through it?
there was a lot of tears, but there was a collective of tears from like other Marine or other, boots, as they call it before you become a Marine. I mean, I'm telling you, it's like we were literally physically beaten. Like that's not allowed. But each platoon, which is like basically like a classroom. Basically, my floor had drill instructors that were very physical and very violent. And, like I would get punched in the jaw all the time because I nervous smile. And if they would see me start to grin from my mouth and they would catch it, they would literally like punch the corner of my mouth so I would stop. I've seen like people get like beaten with like a clipboard. Like we're getting very, very visual, but like it was not cute. It was not demure. It was honestly it was torture. I mean, there's people that have thrown themselves off the third story balcony to escape. Like it feels like you're in this torture camp. It feels awful.
Oh, everybody can't handle that, nor should they. I mean, that's ridiculous.
So yeah, I like just putting yourself through that. I think that's why a lot of people have respect for Marines. I mean, even girls, they get their hair pulled and they have a lot of like their bodies get made fun of. Race is something that like isn't off limits. Like people get made fun of their race and the color of their skin, especially like Asian people, South Asian, and Middle Eastern people get like the brunt of all of it, because where we've ever had wars. Imagine that. So there's a lot of race cards pulled in that sense. So it was really tough. And I think that to this day, I don't think I could ever go through anything that brutal again, or anything that could live up to being that brutal. Because I feel like whenever I think of like any like roughing it moment of my life, whether it be like I was at Burning Man and I was having to like sleep in a shipping container until the rest of my camp stuff got there, and I'm sitting in a shipping container, and I'm like, this is fine. Like I've gone through worse. And, like it puts everything in retrospect. You're like, in retrospect, this is fine. We can live through this. No one's hitting me now. So it's an interesting place to get to mentally. And I'm kind of glad, I'm appreciative of it because I've unlocked this mental state of calm that like any situation I'm in now is not that bad. I say that about everything now.
That is so unfortunate, though, because what you're saying is that you went through something that was so fight or flight, so traumatic that nothing can live up to it. That's sad. You know what I mean? That's not something that someone should have to daily be like, I'm good because I did that. I witnessed the worst of the worst. So when you came out of boot camp, did you want to continue? Were you motivated to continue?
I was extremely motivated. At the end of it, it's a build up. Little by little, well, they're supposed to start treating you more like Marines. And there's this really like big test at the end of boot camp that if you pass it, it's a physical test. If you pass this test that's like last 3 days, then you become a Marine and you get your Eagle Globe and Anchor is what it's called, the the medal.
That they pin to your uniform, right?
Correct. You are given it, you receive it, and it's like a moment where you like all your tears start to run down your face because it's like, fuck, like I did it. I lived through it. So you come out really motivated. And especially me being I by the way, I became infantry, and like when combat medic wasn't available. I was really ready to start learning about all of the intensive classes about like different weapon units and different like forms of attack because when you're in boot camp everyone kind of is trained like the beginning steps of an infantryman because basically what boot camp kind of is, I mean they don't disclose it very much but you can tell the environment of boot camp is set in like in the world of World War II right before there's an attack on Pearl Harbor. That am I right? That is World War II, correct?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Because at sorry, but because at boot camp they actually have like in the middle of a class, they have this moment where they like announce that like Japan has like launched an attack on the United States. And so, we don't have phones, we don't have any access to anyone from the outside world. So they start announcing it and start like running all of these like procedures as if we're about to go into war. Um, and it just, it puts you in that mentality that you're like ready. Like all of the training that you've gone through is worth something.
Wow. So did you have to do active duty anywhere?
I didn't get deployed ever.
Deployed is the right word, and I'm not. Yeah, thank you, because I don't have the vocabulary.
You're fine. You're fine. No, thankfully I never had to. I had just missed going to jungle warfare training in Okinawa. An enlistment is typically 4 years. I got out at 3 because of an injury. I was a machine gunner on top of being an infantryman. And I had really bad knees because of my cheerleading background and I really hurt myself while running with a machine gun on my back. So I got out a little early because I couldn't go on my deployment. But I'm kind of glad what happened happened.
Yeah, I'm glad you got out. I mean, the whole time that you were in it, were you in the mindset of like, I'm doing it, I'm good, I'm fine, and then after it hit you, or were you at some point during it like, I want to get out of this?
Oh, I really wanted to get out almost like halfway through. Yeah, there was a lot of animosity with me and my platoon sergeant. So he kind of hated me. Rightfully so. Like as a Marine to a younger Marine, a senior Marine to a younger Marine. I was not having the whole brainwashing thing. Like I was not having the whole like loss of individuality and loss of self. I very much so was like proud and confident of all the hard work and effort that I put into creating who I am. That I was just not having it. I was a full Cadet Kelly, because I was just an individual and I was like so myself that he despised me because I would leave on the weekends. Again, I'm from North Carolina and I was stationed in North Carolina. So I would leave every Friday after they let us out. And I would go and visit all my friends in college. I'd go to my hometown. I'd like go to my home, like my childhood home. And I just lived two lives. I lit like a 9 to 5 Monday, Friday. I'd clock in and I'd clock out and I'd leave. And he hated that because all the other Marines in my company were all like going through another round of trauma. So there's basically like a pledging that happens when you're, a lower level boot is what they call it, like a new Marine, and there's a lot of hazing that happens, and I just wasn't ever having to be there for it. I never had to live through
Good for you.
like but he hated it, right? I never had to live through it until um he framed me for being an alcoholic. Long story short, I faced a little bit of like I went to the principal's office, let's say that. I got like in trouble for something I did in training. Um, and I basically like got my pay cut for like a month because like that's like the slap on the wrist. They cut your pay for a month.
That's a huge deal, though.
Yeah, especially, I mean, especially for the little money that you're making to begin with. After that month, I stopped getting paid. They just never like reinstated, my direct deposit. And so I was going without getting paid. And so I like went to him for assistance with it. And he was like, well, like you're lying. That's not true. There's no way that you're not getting paid. That doesn't happen to people. And I'm like, it did. And I tried explaining. He's like, that's not true. And he's like, show me your bank account. I was like, I don't really feel comfortable with that. He's like, he forced my superior, my leader, to like forcefully show him my bank account. And like he wanted proof that I wasn't getting paid. And he saw on there that I had two charges from liquor stores for like $75 each because it was 4th of July weekend. Not just for me. I was like visiting my friends, and so like they gave me money and I went and bought liquor for all of us at the liquor store. He used that to frame me. He took that information, made an affidavit, and then asked my roommate and one of my superiors to write fake affidavits saying that I had an alcohol issue and that like and to create stories saying that I was belligerently drunk constantly. I'm not lying. I was never ever an issue. Actually, the funny thing was is I always took care of my roommate because my roommate was an alcoholic. So I had my superior and two other affidavits against me saying that I had drinking issues. And so he used that to ground me. The military can ground you and not allow you to leave the base. And I was grounded for 4 months,
Like
not
a
allowed.
prison sentence.
Literally, I was only allowed in the barrier of base. And so like he started just like doing little things to take away my liberties so I can finally become a Marine and like be like everybody else. And so I mean there's just so many other stories about him just like causing all of this trauma. I like even when it started getting like anxiety from it because like this person like is now having all of this control over me. He even tried to start controlling like the fact of like I started to see a therapist on base and he started to like tell my leaders that like to not allow me to go to seek help to seek treatment anymore. And I ran into my therapist because she was like in my basically around where I lived. And she's like, hey, like you've missed our last few sessions. Like, what's going on? You could have like let me know. I was like, I was told that I'm not allowed to like speak to you anymore and like even like text you or talk to you. And she did it. Like she's like the reason why I was pulled out of that like hellhole that was starting to spiral to a point where like
Thank God you had therapy. So
I
she got you
know.
relocated or reassigned.
Oh, she got me reassigned. Like she went to my command, like the captain of the entire unit, and was like and caused an entire scene because like you don't tell people that they can't seek mental like help or like therapy. Like that's what drives so many Marines to suicide is their mental health. And like to tell somebody that like they don't rate it, basically like they're not allowed to just because you have an issue against that person, it's illegal.
Oh, totally. Oh, he's a total example of power unchecked, and that whole alpha mentality is such bullshit. And thank God for her. I'm like so glad that you were going to therapy and that she stood up for you.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, thank you to her. I wish. Yeah, but those are some of the things of the less happy moments of my.
Yeah, I mean, I know that it can be so traumatic. And God, what a horror night show that was. I'm glad you got out of it. I'm sorry you got injured, and that's the way you got out of it in totality. Just out of curiosity, what was dating like?
Well, dating didn't really exist on base. I kind of lived a double life. So as soon as I went to college, I came out to my cheerleading side. So I cheered not through any school. I cheered basically like a travel sport. So All-Star Cheerleading has its own gym, its own thing. So I was out to my cheer life, and then I was in the closet on campus to my fraternity. So when I joined the military after that year of being in college, I went back in the closet fully. And so in the military, I was straight, but like when I'd go and visit friends and family, I was gay. I even had like a boyfriend like 2.5 hours away, maybe 3 hours away from base, where I'd go and sleep over at his house, and then on Sunday morning, really fucking early, I would drive all the way back to base and just become a whole different person.
Did you feel like you had to keep that secret because of the toxic environment that you were in, or was there pressure from your comrades? Why did you do that?
It's always spoken of. Being in the military is like, this like boys club. But the thing that even makes it more challenging is being infantry. So infantry, you're this grunt, you're just a cog in this huge game of war. And anything that creates any type of friction within that system, it's just not smart for the system. And that's kind of why Don't Ask, Don't Tell was a thing. Because it just creates a lot of like, there's homophobia, or there's like people uncomfortable to get undressed and just feel, comfortable with all these other men around them. And, you know, when you think about it like a system, I'm not justifying Don't Ask, Don't Tell at all, but like you could see what they were trying to do. But the problem is that toxic masculinity and homophobia that makes it a thing, right? It wouldn't be a thing if toxic masculinity and homophobia didn't exist. Um, so that being said, in the Marine Corps and being infantry, like they still have that. Marine Corps is old beliefs. That's their whole thing is they're the old beliefs and the old systems. Like they treat enlisted like if they're peasants, and they treat officers like if they're royalty. Like officers have like clubs, like basically like country clubs and golf courses just for them. So like when it comes to being gay in the military, they've literally said out loud that like if we see you making out, or if we see you hugging or kissing another man in a romantic way, I swear to God, I will beat the living shit out of you, is what was told to me like multiple times. And
Yeah,
so
that's
you're
terrifying.
you're like, ah, got it. Like I had friends that were cooks in the Marine Corps, that like I had these friendships. I actually met some gays through Grindr, thank God. Um and like I like was on base with three other gays, and like they all had different jobs, like desk jobs and cooks, and they were able to be out to their Marines, because it's a different system. There's a different belief system, different like it's really this wall of being infantry is like you're choosing to be the toughest, most brutal, like like surrounding yourself with like the lowest of IQ alpha male style group of men.
Speak
Um,
on it.
so that's the challenging part, like you're choosing as a gay infantryman, which is not common, by the way. You can ask around. Being a gay infantryman is so rare because of that. You're signing yourself up to be basically like
Prejudiced.
exactly.
So when you got out, that must have been liberating, I hope, to now be like, I can merge my life with my reality. Or did it take time?
There was like a definitely like a breath of fresh air, sigh of relief feeling, but I didn't realize the impact and trauma that was going to like affect me long term, even to this day. Like I never had anxiety before going in the military. I never faced it. And like I had a retail job that I jumped right into. I like made sure I had a job right coming out of the military so I can like start making money from a different source and like just like become, you know, who I truly was, which is not a Marine in my head after all the trauma that I went through. Once a Marine, always a Marine is a, a statement that I do believe in, but like I wasn't proud of my personal experience. So I had a retail job, and as soon as like my manager needed to just have a discussion with me about like something, like maybe I like did something wrong, or maybe like there's a different way to do something, I would instantly like freeze up, and I would like almost start shaking and almost crying just from like the nerves of like someone someone in management trying to like have a discussion with me because of all the trauma that I would face like speaking to my staff sergeant, my platoon sergeant. He really did a number on me mentally when it came to any type of leadership.
How have you been able now to sort of move past that and unpack that and work through those traumatic responses?
I think it really has just taken time. And it's
Therapy? Are we in therapy?
we've never gone to therapy after the military.
Oh, Grayson.
I know. I think that I do a lot of, people call it soul searching. I try to do a lot of like, explaining my own feelings and or trying to find explanation for my feelings. And I think the way that I've kind of overcome all of those emotions when it comes to like any type of like leadership is just really, it's just taken time. It's taken time to realize that like not everyone above me is like opposing of me. Like not everyone like wants to like has it out for me, or like wants me to fail, or thinks negatively of me just because they're giving me constructive feedback.
Yeah, it sounds like you are doing the work of talking yourself off the trauma responses, but as your friend, I would encourage you to seek out a therapist for trauma responses because it helps a lot.
Yeah.
It does. I don't know how comfortable you are with it. I'm not going to tell you ever again, but I think in this moment I would encourage it. I really would.
I mean, I think that also like I guess my form of, a form of therapy is also to just talk to other people and like have
Yeah.
real discussions with people about feelings and emotions, and deep discussions about, each other's trauma and the way that you handle things. And I am a sponge when it comes to listening to people, and especially like listening to people's stories. And I've always loved listening to how people handle certain situations, how they've handled situations, and how they've grown in their life through, the different curveballs that they've been given. And I do listen to the ways that people have tried to cope with their trauma, and I try all of their different methods out on my.
I think that's great, but I want you to be listened to.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, this isn't a breakthrough. I'm not trying to like tell you what to do. It's totally your life and you are a happy presenting individual, but we're talking about serious topics and it wouldn't be something I'd be comfortable walking away from the conversation and not at least bringing it up. Do you know what I
Well,
mean?
no, I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So here's something that I like to sort of change route towards the end of this because we're at an hour, we're a little bit past it. But it was a great conversation and I didn't want to dismiss anything we were talking about. Good luck for me editing this later. But so everyone that comes on the show, we talk about being a creative entity and, in something where you have to be so uniform and you have to be so indoctrinated into what their impression of you is. I'm glad to see that you didn't lose your creative spirit and that, that is something that did kind of get you in trouble while you were there. But how do you creatively connect to yourself these days? Like, what are you creatively launching into outside of work?
I have two or three creative outlets.
Good.
Yeah, so
I know you love music.
yeah, so one being I songwrite in my free time. I a lot of times when I'm at a true place of zen and calm, I have like a lot of like lyrics, and I have a lot of like, yeah, I have a lot of inspiration that just comes to me. Um, and so I like to lean into those thoughts and ideas and melodies, and it feels almost spiritual in a way.
It's very spiritual. Tapping into your creativity is so important for your soul. Yeah, it's definitely
Absolutely. It,
spiritual.
it's like all of these different songs, and they just come out of nowhere, and it feels like I'm connecting with somebody else in my body. So that's one.
I would
Yeah,
love to hear some of your lyrics sometime. I would love that.
yeah, I don't share them with anyone, not even my
That's
fiance.
okay. It could be
Um,
private.
but
You
I
don't
just,
have to. I
yeah,
just am saying I would love
it's
to.
almost like a diary. It's almost like a diary, and it's like this like art project that no one gets to see but myself, and it feels so intimate and
You are
so.
so Emily Dickinson right now. You know, she had all those poems and they never saw the light of day. Good for
And
you.
that's who I am. I am Emily Dickinson. Thank you very much.
Good for
Uh,
you. The right abbreviation for ED that we actually enjoy. Miss Emily Dickinson.
oh my
What
God,
else?
you
You've got two
got
other
me.
things? What else?
Okay, yeah. Then the second one is I also am writing. So I'm currently writing a screenplay.
Wait, why? I didn't know you did this.
Yeah. It's something that was inspired by real life experience.
Cadet
Um,
Kelly too?
uh, God, no, we're not
I'm
touching her.
kidding. Please don't.
She's in the Disney vault for good.
Well, look, we got to wrap out. I'm way over time. I've kept you for too long. I just want to say I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you so much for coming on. And is there anything that you feel like we didn't cover that you really wanted to talk about? I mean, we can always have you back on also.
Yes, I'll leave you with a bonus.
Oh,
No man on this earth should ever wear open-toed shoes slash sandals with denim jeans. It is a no for me. It is a no for you. It is a no for everyone in this country. And if you do that, you are indeed not serving.
did my mom pay you to say this? Because she literally has a segment each show called Linda LaFaye Has Something to Say, and she did a whole segment about this.
Oh my God, I need
It
to meet.
hasn't aired yet, as per the recording of this in the Academy. But yeah, no, yeah, interesting. All right, y'all, you guys are twins. Love that. I thought you were gonna give me a tidbit about dating or your career or writing. No, you said I don't like this fashion choice. That's fabulous.
Choose the boy over Paris is my dating advice.
No, I love that. No, we're ending with the open-toed shoes. I mean, duh. Hello, fabulous.
In typical Adam fashion, we went over on time, but you've got an hour and a little bit of bonus features. But if you hadn't had the bonus, you wouldn't have heard his hot tip about the shoes. Thank you, Grayson, for being on the show. Everybody stay safe out there. Love to you and yours. We'll see you next week. Nope, you won't see us, but you'll hear me.
Thanks for letting me use your Zoom because I'm too fucking cheap.
Mm, mm.
Please clean up at the table. Help the person who has served the food. I forgot that part, but I'm going to say it. And scrape the food off the plate before you set it in the sink. I gotta stop. Do I need to really say all these things to you? Yes, I think I do.